Beginning standing, hands to sky. Let's hinge at our hips and fold forward, hands find the mat. Halfway lift, neutral spine, and fold once more, hands finding the mat. Let's roll up vertebrae by vertebrae, hands to sky, standing. And once more, let's hinge at our hips, fold, beginning to pedal out our knees and just feel that stretch in the glute and the hamstring. If we lean our weight a little more on the balls of our feet towards our toes, we'll get a little deeper of a stretch in the hamstring. Bring our hands to our elbows and just shift our weight left and right, becoming aware of our hamstring and our glutes. Whenever you're ready, we can bring our hands towards the mat and walk ourselves out into our first downward dog of the day. Make any adjustments you need so that you feel comfortable and set up properly, and just elongate your spine. Maybe pedaling out the feet to get some stretch into the calves. Finding stillness in your downward dog whenever you're ready. Maybe we drop both of our heels towards the mat to intensify that calf stretch in our downward dog. Just take a couple breaths here and notice your body. Hover the right leg into the air, pressing up onto our left toes. In our three-legged dog, let's bend the right knee, opening the hips. And if it is a part of your practice today, maybe you flip your dog entirely into Wild Thing, right toes meeting the ground. Really opening your heart and your chest, engaging your quad in your left leg so you're strong in this pose. Flip back over into our three-legged dog, right leg high. Shift forward into our plank, planting our right foot between our hands. Let's drop our left knee, uncurl the left toes, rise our hands to the sky in our modified runner's lunge. I love hip openers because its purpose is to release stored energy and stored emotions. Exhale, let's cactus our arms, opening our heart. Inhale, reach our hands back towards the sky. Exhale, cactus the arms again, open the heart. Syncing our breath with our movement here. Let's flow through a couple more cycles of this at your own pace. Bring your hands down behind your back, interlacing your fingers and pulling your chest and your heart open. Taking a small back bend and keeping a comfortable neck position, whatever that feels like for you. I know this looks a little bit strange, but I promise it was very comfortable for me. What does it feel like to pull the left hip forward to maintain alignment in your hips? As we release our hands, let's straighten our right leg, hinge at our hips, and come into a hamstring stretch. Placing our palms on the mat and really pulling our right hip back and sitting into that right glute to feel that hamstring stretch. Let's stay here for a little bit. Surrender to the sensation on the back of your leg. Bending into your right knee, flowing back into that modified runner's lunge. Take a breath here, exhale as you deepen, inhale, straighten the right leg, push back into that hamstring stretch, exhale, deepen, sit back into that glute, inhale, bend into that right knee, reach the hands to the sky. Inhale, straighten that right leg, push back into your hamstring stretch and run through a cycle of this functional hip opener movement here. Just some good mobility in our hips. Bringing our palms to the mat, curling under our left toes, straightening our left leg. Jump our left foot a little bit closer to our right foot as we straighten the right leg and sink into that pyramid pose. Make sure both of your feet are pointing forward and just notice the quality of your breath and the sensation in your hamstring. Let's hang out here for a couple moments. Maybe you lift your toes to feel an intensified stretch in your calf. Walking the hands forward, right leg high in the sky for a three-legged dog. Hold here for one moment, then we can bring our right toes towards the mat, finding ourselves back in downward dog. Inhale, roll forward into a plank. Exhale, drop the knees to the mat. Untuck your toes and take a cycle of cat-cows here just to reset the body, the mind, the spine. You can take whatever you need here. If you need to roll your neck, roll your wrists, this is your practice. Are you breathing? Our mind often knows everything, but our body doesn't. So take this moment to breathe into every muscle, every ache, every chakra, giving yourself the attention and love that we often look for in the outside world. Tuck your toes under, return back to your downward dog, pedal out the feet, drop the heels to the mat to get that intensified calf stretch. When you're ready, we can begin to hover our left leg now into the air, going up on our right tiptoes, taking a breath here before bending our knee, opening our hips, and if it is a part of your practice, entirely flipping into our wild thing, left toes meet the ground below us. Opening our heart, stretching our chest, engaging our right quad, hold. How's your breath? Flip back into downward dog. Left leg remains high in the sky, pushing off our right toes, shifting forward into plank. Left foot lands between our palms. Right knee drops to the ground, right toes untuck, hands find the sky. Pulling our right hip forward and really feeling that stretch in the hip flexor. Adjusting your feet if you need to. Hold here, breathe here. Find stillness. Exhale, cactus the arms. Really pull through the lats and squeeze your shoulder blades. And just notice how this heart opener feels, this stretch across the chest. Inhale, hands to sky. Exhale, cactus the arms. Syncing our movement with our breath. Keep going at your own pace. I'll let you know when to stop. Exhale, cactus the arms, bring your hands down and behind your back, interlacing your fingers and pulling your chest and heart open. Taking a slight back bend and just feeling your open heart in this posture. Double check that your breathing is not constricted, and maybe you take a slight tuck of the tailbone to create an even greater stretch in that right hip flexor. You can release the hands and slowly push back into our hamstring stretch, palms finding the mat. Taking a breath here, pulling back our left hip and sitting into our right glute. Notice the sensation in your hamstring and just find stillness here. I'll let you know when to come back. Bending the left knee, shifting forward into that modified runner's lunge. Hands find the sky, pulling our right hip forward, pushing back into the hamstring stretch, really engaging the core to find some balance and some stability. Flow through this functional movement at your own pace. I will let you know when to come back. Syncing your movement with your breath. Are you breathing? Wherever you're at, find yourself back in that modified runner's lunge. Palms find the mat, right toes tuck, right knee rises. We kick our right foot in just a little bit and find ourselves in pyramid. Feel free to adjust your feet so that you really feel a sensation in the left hamstring. Pulling the left glute back, maybe even lifting the left toes off the mat. We're going to spend some time here, so just focus on your breath and the sensation in your hamstring. Find stillness, and I'll call you back when we're ready. Palms find the mat, left leg shoots high in the sky for three-legged dog. Take a breath here and bring our left toes to the mat. You're going to find yourself in a pretty narrow downward dog, so if you want to walk out your back feet a couple inches, that is totally fine. Slowly roll yourself vertebrae by vertebrae into plank. Right knee meets right elbow, right toes meet left wrist, dropping the right leg down to the mat, setting up for pigeon. Now see if you can pull your left hip forward and down a little bit, just to ensure that our hips are in square alignment. You can begin to walk your hands down to the ground and just really get comfortable in this posture. I love pigeon so much. Maybe if you want, you can take your left arm and thread the needle under your right arm, just putting yourself into a light spinal twist. If this is too much, then just regular pigeon is a beautiful place to be. Taking some breaths here, surrendering to this posture. Beginning to push yourself off the mat, rolling onto your right hip, swinging around your left leg and finding yourself in tabletop. Let's take a slow cycle of cat-cows here, one vertebrae at a time, loosening and releasing right after that long pigeon hold. Tuck the toes, push your hips up and back into downward dog before slowly rolling into plank once again. Left knee meets left elbow, left toes meets right wrist, lowering the left leg onto the ground and sinking into pigeon. Take a breath here and deepen into this posture by lowering yourself towards the mat. Once you've grounded into your pigeon posture, maybe you want to take your right hand, thread it under your left arm, and surrender into this twist. If this is too much or uncomfortable, don't worry, just stay in normal pigeon. There's better things in life than being able to thread the needle. Slowly finding your way back up and into a seated position. Last movement of the day, right arm overhead, opening the side body, twisting our spine so that our chest is open towards the ceiling. Taking a couple breaths here, feeling the spaciousness in the side body. What happens on one side must happen on the other. Let's bring our right arm down and lift our left palm to the sky, rotating our chest so that it's open towards the ceiling. Maybe you rotate your palm so that it's facing the wall behind you. Maybe you take your gaze toward your left arm so that you're intensifying the spinal twist. Left arm comes down. Take a shavasana if you have time. The light in me bows to and honors the light within you. Thank you so much for practicing with me.